1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, get ready to spend the next 2 hours with our three sports-loving ladies. Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl. Hey!
This is Helmets and Heels
On 1010XL, switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
Show me what you got, pretty lady.
Well, ladies, yesterday we talked about how training camp begins this week. And there's going to be yet another Jaguar out on that practice field tomorrow at the Miller Electric Center that has lots of extra money in his bank account. As you've heard if you've been listening to the radio station this morning, about an hour or so ago, Tyson Campbell did get the extension, 4 years, $76.5 million. That includes $53.4 million guaranteed. It's a good day to be Tyson Campbell.
Yeah, it's almost like we left the Easter egg out there during yesterday's program. Shout out to Taylor Dahl. I was like, let me just go dig this up for the old social machine. And Taylor found it instantly. She's like, yep, last segment yesterday, the 142 mark, we were discussing the potential for this contract to be announced once Tyson Campbell and the rest of the veterans reported today. This is something that has been in the works for months between Trent Baalke and Tyson's representation with Athletes First. Very exciting day here in Jacksonville, which I feel like we've been saying a lot lately, which is a good thing. And I see some of our Heeligans already texting in, noting how exciting it is that homegrown players are getting extensions, and not just one or two, but three guys in one off season, and what that means for progress. As far as the behind the scenes of how this deal got done, look, this contract was being negotiated around the same time that the Trevor Lawrence contract started. The negotiations for that started to get going. And it's one that it's been, I got a text on July 2nd that they thought they would announce it then. I half jokingly told my source, I was like, well, Tyson's in Africa right now, so I don't know if they're gonna announce it this week. They end up finally coming to terms yesterday, the announcement this morning, and so a very exciting day, but one that has been a long time coming. Taylor and I just joked. She heard from somebody back in June that this was near completion, and here we are.
I went back and looked, and it was literally June 11th when he was like, Trevor contract coming, Tyson right behind it. Yeah. And now it's July 23rd.
So it took a little bit of time, which these things do, but nonetheless, very exciting. And as we noted on yesterday's program, Lauren, very important that this deal got done before the start of training camp, because Trent Baalke pretty adamant that he will not negotiate deals once the season begins.
Yeah, and I think the important thing, we've talked about it a ton, Shad Khan made his remarks of we've got to start locking down our own guys. And I think it's really important that shows to me the direction that your organization is going in, or where at least they feel they're going in. And now you got to prove it. And that's part of the thing. You give your quarterback a new contract. You give your edge a contract. You give your corner a contract. You have a stadium deal. Foye Oluokun gets an extension. You've got to translate that to wins now.
You certainly do. I put Trevor Lawrence and Tyson Campbell in the same category. And that is, when they're healthy, they're some of the best at their position in all of the league. The problem is, last season, as everyone knows, both of those players had significant injuries. Trevor, obviously, multiple significant injuries. Tyson Campbell, the hamstring. And you know what you can't do in this league? You can't play corner with a hurt hamstring, because the speed of those receivers is ridiculous. Like, we talk about Brian Thomas Jr. now. He runs a 4.33. You can't keep up with a guy like that if you have a hamstring that's not fully repaired. And so I think this upcoming season, we're going to see his best football yet. And I believe that about Trevor Lawrence as well, as long as they stay healthy.
It's some of this revisionist history that we've spent the past 6 weeks of the dry period talking about, Lauren.
It hasn't been dry around here, Mia.
Right. It hasn't been dry. You're not wrong. The dead period. We're calling it the dead period. Yeah. We spent, the first 4 weeks of the season last year, which, look, the Jaguars were 2-2. Not where they wanted to be. They wanted to be 4-0. Let's be clear there. But if you had told me on October 1st that folks in this town would be saying that Walker Little is nothing but a swing tackle, Tyson Campbell can't stay healthy, he's damaged goods, you would be hard-pressed to find someone who believed that literally end of September, beginning of October last year, because both of those players were playing at elite levels. Unfortunately, their seasons did not end the way that so many hoped they would. And you could say the same for Trevor Lawrence. You could say the same for another classmate from that 2021 draft class, and Andre Sisco. Christian Kirk as well. Christian Kirk he at least has the let's just say, well, especially because we're going to be joined by Ty Dunn coming up at 12:30, who penned that awesome profile of Christian. Christian at least has the excuse of once he got hurt, everything else went to crap. And so I think that his value is viewed differently in this town and among this fan base compared to those 4 members of the 2021 draft class who I think, unfortunately, Taylor, because of the way their seasons ended, which was injured for almost the whole lot of them, because you could throw Travis Etienne in there as well when he suffered that rib injury. Therefore, we're not looking at that draft class the way we were a year before that or even midway through last season when all 5 were healthy.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a thing in conversation, though, for any player. When you're saying you want them to be healthy, part of them playing well is being able to play. So that's why people do group that in part of the conversation. But when you're talking about Tyson Campbell, like, so for example, some of his numbers in 2022, when we were saying at the end of the season and obviously in that offseason that he is one of the better corners in the league, he was the 6th best at preventing separation behind McDuffie, Sauce, Brandon, I don't even know how to say it, Faxison, James Bradbury, Travarius Ward. And then the 7th highest graded PFF corner. He had 9 pass breakups, 3 interceptions, and a completion percentage allowed of just 58.5. So that 2022 season for Tyson, and I think that that's what you just have to kind of look at this moment. That is what he's pretty much getting paid for, is that 2022 season and maybe those first few games of last year. You obviously hope that that returns. It's not always guaranteed that these players come back and play at that level. It was one season of good from start to finish. So you hope that that's what you have seen, but you've seen it happen. You've seen it happen in a full NFL season for him and him being talked out as one of those guys. So when you start paying these players, sometimes you do have to take a little bit of a chance. And when you feel like you've seen enough and you are confident that coming back healthy is going to go right back to what Tyson Campbell was in 2022, then it's completely worth the money for me.
And I heard John Oehser say that the Jags staff believes that this is the best fit. This new defense with Ryan Nielsen as the defensive coordinator is the best fit scheme-wise for Tyson. That's great news because that's obviously a scheme that we've also spent the offseason talking about, Mia, in that this is a defense where your corners, there's a lot is going to be asked of them. And so that the fact that they believe that Tyson is up for the challenge is great.
And again, the revisionist history. What did we hear when Ryan Nielsen was first hired? Well, can Tyson Campbell actually play man-to-man defense? Pretty sure Gus pulled the stats from, I believe it was after he shut down Devontae Adams in what would have been week 9 of the 2022 season. I mean, at that point, Tyson Campbell hadn't even entered what many believe was one of the best runs that we saw from a corner in the 2022 season. And he had one of the highest graded man-to-man defensive grades by PFF of any corner in the National Football League. The truth of the matter is that he really hasn't been asked to play that much man-to-man, Lauren, because I go back to the year that Joe Cullen was the defense coordinator. Between Shaq Griffin's skill set and the fact that Tyson was still coming along and struggling to track the football, they were forced because of personnel to move to a more of a zone-heavy scheme. And so Georgia fans out there, Georgia Heeligans, I need you to hit us on the text line, Design by Lifetime Enclosure, 641-1010, because I know you have all been adamant. You've seen him play man-to-man at the University of Georgia. He can do it. Now we will see when push comes to shove with Ryan Nielsen's defensive scheme.
It's funny to me, Taylor, it's almost like people, once there's something negative that happens, like for instance, for Travis Etienne when he was fumbling, once people find an issue with a player, they lock onto that and then they don't ever get past it, right? Yeah. Like, yes, you can be a running back who fumbles the football a few times in one season and then fix it and get better. And people still go back to, oh, but he fumbled. Yeah. Tyson Campbell, yes, early in his rookie year, had a hard time tracking the football, like Mia said. Turning his head around wasn't his specialty. And had he been able to do that, then this narrative would never have been out there. But I think people need to realize that when healthy, you just read off some stats, and watching him week in and week out, they don't want to throw the football his way. Yeah. They'd rather pick the other cornerback to attack.
Well, and it will be interesting, too, to see not only the difference of how the secondary looks and the defense in general with Ryan Nielsen, but also this is a conversation I feel like we're going to have so much during this training camp, but opposite Tyson Campbell and what that looks like. Because you did see the massive jump. Yes, I think he progressed anyways from his rookie season to that year, too, but I do think that Darius Williams helped him a ton in 2022. And then even last year, earlier in the year, I do think that he was such a big part. When you look at the end of last season, Darius was one of the better corners in the league in every single ranking almost, and you don't have that anymore. So how much does that affect Tyson, if at all? And so that's going to be something to keep an eye on, and how quick and who they're putting opposite Tyson Campbell. That affects those number one cornerbacks.
Yeah, certainly. And I think the question then, Mia, is the corner opposite Tyson better than Darius? Even though Darius did have some good seasons here and played really good football, but in this scheme, is that opposite corner from Tyson, is that person going to be better than Darius was?
Right.
Whoever it is.
Right, exactly.
We don't even know right
now. Because now you have if you're a quarterback, if you're an opposing offense, you have a clear target who you can go after, especially if Jarian Jones is to win that outside corner job. I don't believe, even if, again, we will see, because I believe that Doug Peterson and his staff, whoever the best player is, that's who they're going to put out there on the football field. I don't believe you would see Jarian Jones day one. I could be wrong. He could win the job right away as that number 2 corner. And even if he does, like Tyson did once upon a time in 2021, I think you will see offenses go after him, logic suggests, over Tyson Campbell.
Yeah.
And that will manipulate Tyson's stats to be certain, but that's where, again, Ryan Nielsen's defensive scheme with how many disguises he's going to run, 3 safety looks, bringing in an extra nickel, an extra third safety, where you've got 6 defensive backs on the field at once.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's where you can get around this idea of, well, they're just going to pick on whoever the other corner is, because I truly believe, and I actually was listening, Mina Kimes and Field Yates, they did their power hour earlier this week, and in their discussion of the Jags, they both said, straight up, 2 things. Number 1, if the Jags can clean up the fumbling, the drops, and the turnovers, they can clean those 3 things up. That instantly gets you 2 more wins. And the ability to adapt and the ability to react to what the opposition is presenting you on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball. And they believe because of Ryan Nielsen, you're going to see that a lot more than you did the past 2 seasons.
Yeah, hopefully so.
Well, his scheme is certainly more aggressive than Mike Caldwell's was.
And again, I go back to, it's no longer about, you are an outside linebacker, Trayvon Walker, so you play on the right side 85% of the time. And Josh Hines Allen plays on the left side 85% of the time. And, Andre Sisco is a safety who plays center field, and that is where he plays. It's no longer about that. They are going to be moving guys all over the place, especially along that defensive front. But I think in the back end, it's going to surprise some people as well.
It's also where, when we talk about pass rush, why that's so important. Because as we know, going back to 2017, the Jags defense did 2 things incredibly well, rush and cover, because they go together. If you can get to the quarterback quickly, at least affect the quarterback, even if it's not a sack, then your cornerbacks don't have to work quite as hard because the pass rush is getting home. And so that's
the
where
amount of field they have to cover is greatly reduced when you have guys up front helping you.
Yeah, and so that's where we talk so much about Eric Armstead also this offseason, because if you can get an interior pass rush, we believe that the exterior pass rush will continue. Those edges will be even better this year, although it's going to be hard for Josh Hines Allen to have a better statistical year than he did last year. But just being, like I said, affecting the quarterback every single game is so important. When the other quarterback knows it's coming and it's coming quickly, that also changes what they're going to do offensively. And so that's certainly another really important thing. And by the way, I think, I've said this now for months, I think it's Ronald Darby who starts week 1 opposite Tyson Campbell. That's who I think that's their plan as of now.
As long as he's healthy, yes.
That's what I think. All right, when we return, Ty Dunn will join us. Oh, no, that's at 12:30. When we return, we will actually share some memories for Mark Carnival. If you've been listening to the station, I know JJ broke the news yesterday, and he was emotional doing it, and I can certainly understand why. We will share our memories of Mark Carnival when we return. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010 XL 92.5 FM.
Hi, I'm Troy Aikman.
I'm John Fox.
This is Heisman Trophy winner Gino Torretta on 1010 XL.
1010 XL.
1010 XL.
92.5 FM.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. From GFL, Green for Life.
Hey Jacksonville, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels. If you're looking to grow your career, Chick-fil-A restaurants are hiring and looking for folks to join their team right now. Chick-fil-A Jacksonville area restaurants are offering flexible hours, scholarship opportunities, and leadership development, just to name a few. You can find a friendly work environment with competitive pay and have fun at work with opportunities to serve your community. With locations all around Jacksonville, apply online or in person today at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center will get your sex life back in just one visit. Their painless, breakthrough medical treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Prime Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments will restore your sex life regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. Plus, you'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients will have their testosterone checked free. Call 904-902-8222. 904-902-8222. To regain your sex life in just one visit, call now. 904-902-8222.
Did you know a metal roof from Prime Roofing will last 2 to 3 times longer than a shingle roof? If you want a better roof, think metal. Think Prime Roofing. Schedule your free estimate today at primeroofingfl.com. That's primeroofingfl.com.
Arrested? Got traffic tickets? DUI? License problems, gun charges, drug charges? If you've been charged with any crime, call me, criminal defense attorney Malcolm Anthony, at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW.
It's about the hunt.
Captain Kevin Favor here with Captain Kirk and Jeff Lagerman. We take you from the water to the woods.
On the Nimnicht Outdoors Show. Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Let's go to the woods, y'all.
Saturday mornings from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
An ACL tear can be a devastating injury with prolonged pain and rehabilitation. Hi, I'm Dr. George Bari. I'm a sports medicine orthopedic surgeon who grew up right here in Jacksonville and then went on to train with the world-renowned Dr. James Andrews. At Bari Orthopedics, we use the most current techniques to get you back on the field with less pain and quicker rehabilitation. We treat all types of sports injuries with the newest techniques available. Please call us for consultation or visit BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com.
Don't make a bad call when it comes to servicing your home. Cooling off with a baby pool in the house to fix your air conditioning problem is a bad call. Trying to catch a wave in a flooded bathroom is a bad call. Using a burning electrical panel to make s'mores is a bad call. The next time something goes wrong, make a good call to Donovan.
Whether you need air, electric, or plumbing service, Donovan is always a good call. It's why we've been trusted by our customers for almost 40 years and why you can trust us to deliver fast, reliable service to your home. Donovan, always a good call.
Visit DonovanAC.com today.
Need or want cash? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Brakes? We can save you 15% on that. We have OE quality Duralast brake pads and rotors in stock, ready for pickup or delivery. We also have calipers, brake fluid, tools, and anything else you'll need to do the job right. When you get Duralast pads and rotors together, you'll save 15%. It's just part of what makes us America's #1 brakes destination.
1010XL breaks down training camp all day. Listen for camp news with analysis and insight from the practice feed.
Everything counts!
1010XL's training camp coverage is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing and Kingfish Pest Control.
Dave and Ammon here with Zero Res. So Ammon, you have worked for Zero Res since you were 9 years old. What makes Zero Res the right choice for cleaning carpets and tile?
I can think of 3 simple reasons. We have the best process, the best people, and our promise to do the best cleaning possible every time.
So what deals does Zero Res offering for this month?
July is National Carpet Cleaning Month, so for home carpet cleaning, we're offering $49 per room, and for businesses, we're offering 20% off.
Sounds like a great time to get your carpets cleaned. Zero Res.
Spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Kept classy by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
On 1010XL.
Mia O'Brien, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Yesterday morning, Mark Carnival passed away suddenly, and I think that left a big hole in the hearts of many people here at 1010XL. I did not know Mark well other than talking about golf on the radio, and the spirit in which that he talked to us was just so much fun. His energy was always there, and certainly his golf knowledge was second to none.
I know Carney would want me to say this, so I will. When we debuted as a daily program, he reached out to me and said, anything you gals need. Like, I know it may upset Joe Coward and the primetime crew, but please, I will be there for you. And that's who he is, who he was. And it was. I mean, obviously, it's devastating. 64 years old. Suddenly, our thoughts are with his whole family. But the type of guy who would treat you as if he knew you forever. To the point that he met my parents, I think, twice. And when I told my mom, I mean, she was heartbroken, obviously, as we all were, but felt like she knew his whole life story and felt like she'd known him forever. And so it's definitely going to leave a hole, not just in the 1010XL golf coverage world, but here in Northeast Florida golf as a whole.
Yeah, and similar to you, Lauren, I didn't know him well. I honestly think the first time I personally talked was that first month when our show went to full time, but that's how... Didn't know, never had a conversation, didn't really know him. I'd heard him. I've listened to him. And during that whole show, he'd made sure, and that was one thing, he was just so, he was so good at his job, but also so respectful that he was like, okay, Taylor, thanks, Taylor. And we're three women talking, and not everybody can decipher between each of our voices, and especially when it's your first time talking to somebody. And he was just very adamant about that, letting you know that he was talking to you. And it was just one of the moments where my whole Twitter, and that's when you know somebody's loved and appreciated, because my whole Twitter was Carney. And not even just people here, like the golf world, other people that I know that are kind of involved in that golf world were all posting about him. And so that's one of the things that you love to see, though, because you see this moment of everybody kind of being like, what a fantastic human, and I'm glad to know him.
And it's why we do have to give our flowers to people before they're gone and let them know. And I know he knows he was appreciated here, and it's crazy to think he was just on primetime on Friday. I know that's why, obviously, the primetime crew, as a former member of that show, it's gutting. I know for JJ, I know it was very difficult because he didn't find out until he was live on the air. And so obviously it's a tough loss, but I can sleep well knowing that, number one, I think he knew he was appreciated by all of us here and by the folks in the golf world. But secondly, what an incredible life. I mean, an absolutely incredible life, from winning on the PGA Tour to briefly running a golf resort and club to being a member of the Sirius XM and the PGA Tour live media crew. His father was the head coach at Navy. Was the athletic director at William & Mary. Just an incredible sports life in unfortunately, just 64 years.
Yeah, it's jarring when you know someone to be this vibrant human being and somebody who loves life and loves so many people. And the moment that you hear, especially when someone hasn't been sick, and it's shocking, right? Yeah. To me, when I found out yesterday, I was super emotional. And so I was almost glad that I've gotten a little over 24 hours to digest the information and register it, so that I'm not just, sobbing here on the radio station. And so, but yeah, I just wanted to say, certainly to all of his friends and to his family, to his girlfriend, that we are thinking of y'all. And we certainly have always enjoyed talking to Mark, and thoughts and prayers with all of them. All right, let's get it to our Heels highlights. RJ, take it away.
Now, Heels highlights. Unbelievable! On 1010XL.
Caitlin Clark dishing out dimes to Angel Reese. Beautiful to see the two top rookies working together on the same team.
Here's Clark thinking about a bomb, the hesitation, the take, the lead. Reese the lay. Clark to Reese. What you've been waiting for.
Xander Schauffele wins the Open Championship for his second major title of the year.
Sometimes things go your way and sometimes they don't. And when you're playing today, I felt like I really controlled a lot of it. I wasn't going to, I kind of grabbed onto it and there's no chance I was going to let go of it. I was pretty aware of that and really wanted to make sure I did that. But for the most part, all those tough losses in the past or those moments where I let myself slip up and dream too early on that back nine, I was able to reel myself in today and make sure that didn't happen.
All hail the king. German coach Gordon Herbert summarized Team USA's fourth quarter pretty well.
First quarter, they had us back on our heels. We had a tough first quarter. I thought we regrouped some in the second quarter. I thought the third quarter we played our best basketball. We played with good tempo. And somebody named LeBron James made some pretty good plays at the end.
All right, RJ. I need to call you out, my brother man. This is actually the caption I sent for my highlight to RJ Saunders this morning. Quote, Caitlin Clark with a dime to Angel Reese at the WNBA All-Star Game. World peace has been achieved. I appreciate how beautiful is that? Oh, no, let's be real, RJ. World peace has now been achieved. Even with my friend Juju Gotti from the Dan Le Batard show out here asking people, man on the street, who are you picking for Rookie of the Year? I heard it on ESPN Radio 2 weeks ago. Now they want to do co-Rookies of the Year for the first time in the WNBA, second time in professional basketball in this country because it happened once upon a time in the early 1990s with Jason Kidd. And I believe Grant Hill was the player that he shared the Rookie of the Year honor with. Look, we can like both of them. It's okay. Yes. And shout out to Angel, who, subtly was stumping to try to make the American national team in 4 years' time, who just kept referencing, we're going to be on the Olympic team together. Caitlin's going to be on the Olympic team. I hope you're going to be on the Olympic team, Angel. I can't guarantee that.
Let her be confident.
She's trying to out here play at the seed, so good for her in that regards. But look, it was great to see. And for everyone who's panicking about the men's and the women's national teams, the four of us are here to provide some brevity, some levity, and some context because the WNBA All-Stars defeated the U.S. women's national team in 2021 as well before they went and won gold at the Tokyo Games. It's fine. If anything, I enjoyed the storylines of Arike Ogunbowale dropping 30-plus points in the second half after she was left off the national team. Caitlin Clark, 1 assist away from tying and then 2 assists away from breaking Sue Bird's WNBA All-Star Game record. The storylines, the theater, it was a fantastic back-and-forth affair. But let's not bury the lead. Angel and Caitlin on the same team. World peace achieved.
I have a question. So Caitlin Clark didn't want to participate in the three-point shooting contest?
No.
Because she needed a break, but she played in the All-Star game.
Yeah, I just
didn't quite understand.
Well, no, let's compare it to baseball. Home run derby. Some players don't want to compete in the home run derby because then they think that it'll affect their swing. There were some people who said because she's never really done an exhibition quite like that where they roll out a rack of balls and you're, moving all over the court. I don't know, but yeah, she said she's tired. But yeah, and then she
is tired.
Oh, agreed.
They have 1 week off and they had a report to camp. I saw actually a cute video yesterday, and it was one of Angel Reese's fans, and she had this sign, and it had Reese's Pieces because that's Angel Reese's thing. And so there was a bunch of them taped around the sign, and the sign said you can have all of these if I can have your shoes. And Angel after the game takes her shoes off, signs them, gives them to the little girl, and lets her keep the Reese's.
What? She didn't take the Reese's? That's crazy.
She probably gets free ones, but
that's a good point. And then your highlight was about LeBron.
That cracked me up when I saw it, and I tweeted jokingly because if you've ever listened to me, I am petty when it comes to LeBron. Everything about him annoys me, so that's just how I am. I'm a hater. I fully embrace it. But when I saw this, he was some guy named LeBron James. Played pretty well towards the end, and I was just cracking up. I was like, this is me trying to give LeBron a compliment anytime I talk to him. I'm like, yeah, that one guy, he was okay. He was all right.
At the same time, though,
he literally saved the USA.
I was going to say, there's a good chance the United States loses to not only Germany, who actually has an okay
Let's
roster,
not let that happen,
South Sudan, if not for LeBron James.
Yeah. And mine was Xander Schauffele. He won, obviously, the Open Championship after winning the PGA Championship. But I loved his quote. If you missed it there, he said, the tough losses that he's had in the past and dreaming too early.
I love that.
Yes, he wasn't going to let that affect him, and he was going to hold on to that championship, that major. I loved that too because I think a lot of us can relate to that, right?
Yeah.
And you can put it to the Jaguars. Like, hopefully those 5 out of 6 losses to end last season and dreaming a little bit too early when they were competing for number 1 in the AFC. Hopefully that shapes them and affects them positively moving into next year.
It's like those people that get the tattoo like halfway through the season, like Super Bowl champions, and that was dreaming a little too early.
Dreaming certainly too early, yes.
Can I share something really quick? Former Jaguars coach Urban Meyer's favorite player, Kadarius Toney, is switching positions to running back. Andy Reid said that they've been giving Kadarius Toney running back snaps during camp because they saw positive moments there this last year. Reid believes Toney enjoys playing that role, so the team is going to try to utilize it the best of his ability in training camp. He couldn't catch a ball, so they're like, maybe if we can just hand it to you. Also, maybe this is going to be his role more of a special teams.
Wasn't he a quarterback in high school too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
But I think, there's 2 things with with wide receivers that are super important. Like you said, not dropping the football, but also running the right route and knowing exactly where you need to be. And I don't know because we're not at training camp with the Chiefs, obviously, but I do wonder when you see players switch positions, especially wide receiver running back, if maybe they just weren't all the way into the playbook, or like you said, they just can't catch the football. All right, when we return, Ty Dunn will join us, golongtd.com. He wrote a fantastic long-form article on Christian Kirk, so we will chat with him on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Want more Jags? Subscribe to the 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel. Looking for more in-depth coverage of the Gators? Subscribe to the 1010XL Gators YouTube channel. Need your FSU fix? Well, subscribe to the 1010XL Seminoles YouTube channel. Your favorite team, one specific location.